The Government values the UK-Colombia Bilateral Investment Treaty in the investment relationship between our countries. The treaty covered £6.8 billion of bilateral investment in 2023. It provides greater certainty for investors through legally binding investment protection provisions, which ensure both UK and Colombian investors are protected against unfair and discriminatory treatment and expropriation without adequate compensation.
My noble friend will be aware that Colombia seeks renegotiation of the terms of its investment treaty with the UK, concerned, and they're not alone in this concern, that the ISDS provisions are undermining their sovereign democratic right to legislate to protect indigenous community and environmental rights, or to implement aspects of their national peace plan. In 10 years, they've faced 23 ISDS claims by multinational companies, one by Glencore Mining prompted by a refusal to authorise the expansion of what is the largest, or if it's not the largest, one of the largest open-pit coal mines in the world. Last year, we withdrew from the Energy Charter because of concerns that its ISDS provisions would impede our policy to phase out fossil fuels. It would be somewhat inconsistent to do that while compelling Colombia to abide by similar ISDS provisions in our treaty with them.
His Majesty's Government hasn't, as of today, been formally approached by the Government of Colombia about this. But we are, of course, always open to hearing the views of our trading partners. Established forums do exist for civil society organisations to raise and discuss trade-related issues with government ministers. Most recently, my right honourable friend, the Minister for Trade and Economic Security, hosted a civil society roundtable in December, which included a discussion on ISDS. Ministers will continue to engage with a range of stakeholders, including from civil society, across the full range of trade policy issues, including investment.
As we've heard, ISDSs are not rare. There's many of them. But increasingly they're coming under scrutiny, and some countries are not seeking them moving forward. And that's because, as in high-profile cases such as the ones we've heard and others, governments, democratically elected governments, are being challenged and having to overturn legitimate public policy. So can, first of all, the Minister tell your Lordship's House if she recognises the regulatory chill, the improper regulatory chill, that these agreements can create for democratically elected governments? And can she set out, in a general sense, the government's position in future? Will the government continue to seek ISDS agreements in trade deals that it is currently negotiating?
These agreements do stand over a very long period of time. So between an agreement being put in place and 10 years where we are now with Colombia, at which point there is an opportunity to look at this again, many things may change, and it is open to either side to seek changes to those agreements or to walk away entirely. At the moment, though, the Colombians have decided or haven't indicated to us that that is their intention. It should be remembered that these bilateral treaties are helpful in providing assurance to investors, and that is something that we wouldn't want to harm in any way.
As of last year, ISDS claims pending against Colombia exceeded $13 billion. So as the penholder for the Colombian peace process at the Security Council, what assessment has His Majesty's Government made of the impact of this on Colombia's ability to resource the implementation of the peace accord? And how can we leverage our role as penholder to help Colombia achieve this?
The United Kingdom is absolutely committed to supporting Colombia in the peace process, and enormous progress has been made. So we see these things as separate. There have been, I think there are 26 cases since 2016 that Colombia has faced. Only 4 of them have been brought by the UK. So we hope that we can continue to trade with Colombia and to invest in Colombia. They're an important partner for us, and also to support them as they move forward with their peace process.
The arguments against the ISDS don't just come from the ecological lobby. There's a democratic argument against them, and there's an argument that they place some foreign companies an unfair advantage over domestic ones. Nonetheless, as the Right Honourable Baroness correctly says, they are a necessary way of attracting investment. Can I ask her to confirm that wherever we decide to draw that balance, we should apply it consistently across all of our trade deals, and it would be neither credible nor sustainable to start changing them because of lobbying from one particular country, which would then encourage every other trading partner to do the same thing?
I think so, but I think as well that there is a difference between being consistent and having a sort of cut and paste approach. Every context is, of course, unique, and Colombia is a particularly special partner for us for reasons that noble lords will understand.
All of Colombia, and we have our 20th anniversary next week. And we have many politicians and environmentalists and indeed tribal leaders coming. I want to extend on Baroness Cousin's question, where she mentioned the 13 billion. Australia does not have an ISDS agreement with Colombia. The mega mining group BHP has found a workaround by its UK-registered spin-off company, Size 32, to sue Colombia for $94 million over alleged unpaid royalties from a mine which the Colombian Constitutional Court has ruled causes serious long-term health and environmental issues. As the pen holder, can we not intervene in this? Colombia has 10% of the world's unique birds, and just in the last 12 months they have found 12 new species of plant and animal and amphibian that we did not even know existed.
Colombia is an astonishing country, not least because of its biodiversity. I don't think it would be right to try and leverage our role as pen holder for the peace process at the Security Council to intervene in issues of trade. The UK is the fourth largest investor in Colombia, and we would seek to work through these issues alongside Colombia in the spirit of mutual respect and partnership.
The Colombian Trade Minister said the Colombian justice system has the tools to guarantee investors all reasonable protections and due process for the protection of their rights. So has His Majesty's Government conducted an assessment of the Colombian justice system? And if a renegotiation of this agreement does take place, are they satisfied that UK investors' rights will be guaranteed all reasonable protections, and particularly in light of the ongoing dispute between Vive Healthcare and the government over intellectual property rights?
I think the Noble Lord Opposite is rather rushing his fences because, of course, we would look at these things should there be a formal request for a review or any change from the Government of Colombia. But as of today, that isn't the case. And we do speak with our partners in Colombia very regularly. I was in Colombia myself in December, so we'd be very happy to have any kind of dialogue that they wish, but we haven't had that request as of now.
Recognise that a fatal flaw of the ISDS secret court system is that it privileges big corporations over access and rights for citizens and for workers. And could she update us on how you are pursuing a trade policy that can be a win-win in protecting jobs and levering up labour standards, recognising that in countries like Colombia, it has a history of being one of the most dangerous countries in the world to be a trade unionist.
I do recognise what she says, and I've met with many civil society organisations a couple of times very recently with Justice for Colombia. It is important that these agreements provide a win-win because the UK wants to be a responsible partner with all our trading partners, but I think it's fair to say especially with Colombia.
On from the last question. The United Nations Special Rapporteur on the Right to Development has said that ISDSs are crippling for many countries in terms of the impact on development. They have been described as a form of modern-day colonialism. Does the Noble Lady, the Minister, agree with that? And would she agree that ISDS is a significant barrier to delivering the sustainable development goals to which the whole world has signed up to?
Certainly would not describe our relationship with Colombia in any way as being to do with colonialism, and they wouldn't either. We have a respectful, equal relationship of partnership where we've supported them for a very long time.